Welcome back to Studio One Vintage Guitars, New Zealand's home of vintage guitars and home of Guild 212XLs. This is our second Guild 12 string that we've had in. This is the third of this type that I've played, and I have to say that these are one of the ideal 12 strings. So let's just go back to the start of all this. This is a Guild. So Guild for a long time you could say were like the third guitar builder in America. So you had Martin, you had Gibson, and you had Guild. And Guild instruments were used by a lot of popular players. I would say Mississippi John Hurt was someone that really did a lot for Guild guitars. He primarily played a Guild 6-string and was seen in a lot of TV shows and that kind of thing playing them. This is a 1980 12 string we got from our man Plato. We had a guy come in, great New Zealander comes in, brings us a bunch of instruments, and he had got them all over the world. He traded up on the Guatemalan HD28 that we had, if you remember that. But basically, he purchased this in America. I remember he mentioned that he got I think mandolins from Chicago Music Exchange. That's where he was living back in the day. So I'm not sure if this came from Chicago, but in the 12 string world, this is one of the essential 12 strings. So basically, it's Sitka spruce top, it's mahogany back and sides. It's got 12 strings. It's in the case of this guitar, it has a bit of finish, kind of cracks. Here, I don't know, it's quite interesting. I don't know if you can see, you got one here, one there, and a couple here, and a couple here. Yes, so this is in 1980, so it was made in the Westerly factory on Rhode Island. And back years ago when I purchased myself one of these, I remember a guitar slinger, I told him, I got a Guild 12 string. He's like, which one did he get? I got an early 70s 212XL. And he goes, oh, good, from the Rhode Island factory. So I don't know much else about Guild, but I do know that the Rhode Island factory seems to be where all of the good ones came from, and this one came from there. So, in comparing this one to my one, I was very impressed with this one when it came out, when we got it and started playing it, because it's very, very much like mine. I would say it's probably, I don't know if it's heavier built, I'm not quite sure, but it's very close. And so I've got I think mine's a 73. I can't quite remember. So I've got like an early 70s. This is a very early 80s, and the other one we've got is an 89, and the 89 was built in a different factory. You could say the difference between this one and the 89 is the 89 feels a little bit heavily built, and it has a slightly bigger headstock. My one that I have at home, I purchased that when I finished studying in America, and that was kind of my graduation present to myself, and my first 12 string. And last night I was playing it, and after having a couple of different other 12 strings and having the Holtzhoffel mic here, coming back to the spruce top, mahogany back and sides, made me realize that this guitar is very good. My Holtzhoffel was the same combination of wood, but a different bracing style, and really the thing about 12 strings is every individual design has its own kind of has its advantages, and this one I would say is having the mahogany back and sides. That is a really that's, you could say, is essential for a fingerpicking 12 string. Nothing wrong with rosewoods, and in fact rosewoods are very, very good, but the mahogany doesn't give you as much complex kind of overtones, which I think helps with 12 string. Sometimes the challenge with 12 string is you've got so much sound going on, you kind of have to control that. If you are a fan of Leo Kottke, Leo is the master of the 12 string, and it should be said, the 12 string, because naturally it is a harder instrument to play, or is harder than a 6 string initially, doesn't seem, the history of the 12 string doesn't seem to be carried as much. But The 12 string was the working man's guitar back in the day, you know, before they were getting into steel strings and you know, heavier bracing and figuring out how to get acoustic guitars louder. The 12 string was kind of the first port of call, because basically more strings means more sound. So that's where my hot soft was from. It's from the early, very beginnings of 12 string guitar, when they're trying to figure out big body, lots of strings, big sound. This is a bit more of a refined instrument in a way. It's X bracing, and so it has a really good response to fingerpicking. What I've found out with my Holtzhoff being a ladder brace guitar is that it's amazing for strumming and very, very good for fingerpicking, but ladder bracing is its own animal. So who do I recommend this guitar to? If you're a fingerstyle guitarist and you want to get into 12 string, this is a great place to start. You've always got to start somewhere, and I started with one of these. They have a great neck profile. You'd say actually thinner than a Martin, closer to a Gibson kind of feel. And you can, with 12 strings, you can tune them. So right now you can tune them down. Right now we have this tuned up to standard. I personally don't recommend that. In my one, I have it tuned down to D standard tuning. So that's great if you're singing, because for a male, it brings the whole thing down a tone. So it's a bit easier to sing. If you're getting into your singing, it brings everything down, so you can, you know, maybe sing at a bit easier kind of pitch for your voice. But really what I want to do with this instrument is subject you to some tuning, and we'll put it into a ideal tuning for this guitar, because the thing about 12 strings is, you know, if you come at it looking at it like it's 6 string, you're kind of missing all the other interesting things that this guitar can do. Really, these guitars thrive in the open tuning world. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tune it to open C. So here we go. So I start by tuning D down to C. So my rationale is I'm taking off the tension in the middle of the guitar. Then I'm going to move to the A and put that down to G as well. I'm starting with G because you have the G right there, right there. So now we have C, G, and C in the middle. Now what we're going to do is the B has to come up to C and the E has to go down to C. So what I prefer to do is put tension on the guitar first. Going up to C doesn't put heaps of tension on the guitar. So now you can hear. Now what you got to do is, for instance, while I was just tuning that B up to C, for a moment there my ears kind of locked into, oh, that's in tune and everything else isn't. But that's why I'm always coming back to this G, because as you can tell it hasn't moved in pitch. And now the E's kind of where you want it to be. We'll fix it at the end now. Now we're getting down to. Also say we're running Martin 12 strings, Phosphor bronze 10 to whatever the number is, but they're 10s. little bit of Leo for you. Now we'll just check the tuning now. So you can hear. Got a little bit bad. Got a little bit bad. So. In the world of acoustic guitar riffs, you might be able to say, or arguably you could say that Busted Bicycle by Leo Kottke off 6 and 12 string is the heaviest acoustic guitar playing you're going to see. Like, just so. There was this great video, just tangent for a second. There's this alley cat bike racing in America. When I was there, alley cat is kind of like people on fixed gears, so no gearing, going real hard like through the streets and stuff. Being messenger bag on the back, and you're messaging, taking stuff all around the city. That was kind of the thing. And I remember this video surfaced of Lance Armstrong and a bunch of other guys in Austin, Texas, just on fixed gears, just hooning around Austin, Texas, and they had Leo Kottke Busted Bicycle in the background. Like, that's hardcore. Not well known across the guitar world, but Leo Kottke, a force to be reckoned with. So this guitar is very much like mine. Digging into it. That is the question. So the stank tuning face. So this is an open C. And basically what I'm just doing here is I'm playing the 4th fret on the C string, but really just think of it as the D string for now, so the 4th fret here. And then I'm playing the 7th fret on the G. You get that beautiful. And then the next chord is a little bit harder. But if you want any more, just ask ask the questions through the email. But anyway, yeah, so this is the Guild 12 string. We've gone a little bit longer than usual, but hopefully this kind of showcases what the 12 string can do, at least in open C. I highly recommend this instrument. If it is in your kind of future that you want to get yourself a 12 string, this is a great start. This is where I started. Highly recommended. So anyway, my name is Nick Brightwell. We've got Josh Thomas behind the camera doing all the things. So thank him for all the beautiful camera shots and photos and all the posts and all that. And Garrick is coming in later on, and we are going to be figuring out some stuff with the beautiful Gibson L2, and we're going to look at some new guitars as well. So anyway, that is us for today. Yeah, like, subscribe, and share. Good on you. We'll see you next time. Cheers.